There is one very powerful anti-inflammatory food that is going to surprise you. This can be used for any type of inflammation, including autoimmune disease sufferers. What goes on within our bodies is greatly influenced by the foods we eat. I will first go over the foods you should not eat, and then I will discuss what you should eat. When it comes to reducing chronic inflammation in the body, it's just as important to reduce food components that may be triggering and aggravating existing inflammation. Here are some top foods that cause inflammation and how to limit them. Sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Table sugar and high fructose corn syrup are the two main types of added sugar in the Western diet. Sugar is 50% glucose and 50% fructose, while high fructose corn syrup is about 45% glucose and 55% fructose. One of the reasons that added sugars are harmful is that they can increase inflammation, which can lead to diseases. In a randomized clinical trial in which people drank regular soda, diet soda, milk, or water, only those in the regular soda group had increased levels of uric acid, which drives inflammation and insulin resistance. While the small amounts of fructose in fruits and vegetables are fine, consuming large amounts from added sugars can negatively affect health. Eating a lot of fructose has been linked to obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes, fatty liver disease, cancer, and chronic kidney disease. Foods high in added sugar include candy, chocolate, soft drinks, cakes, cookies, donuts, sweet pastries, and certain cereals. Refined carbs. Eating pasta, white rice, bread, and other carb-rich foods that are primarily composed of refined flour or grains elicits a quicker and often greater effect on blood sugar. A 2018 study published in the American Journal of Physiology has directly linked foods that have a greater impact on blood sugar with increased inflammation that puts one at higher risk for obesity, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and other inflammatory conditions. Refined carbs have a higher glycemic index than unprocessed ones. High glycemic index foods raise blood sugar more rapidly than low glycemic index foods. Refined carbohydrates are found in candy, bread, pasta, pastries, some cereals, cookies, cakes, sugary soft drinks, and all processed foods that contain added sugar or flour. Processed meats. Most processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, pepperoni, and lunch meats are cured with salt and synthetic nitrates. These meats are also often high in saturated fat. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Nutrition has linked regular intake of processed meats to an increased risk of inflammation. In addition to promoting inflammation, processed meat are also thought to contribute to chronic conditions such as heart disease, cancer, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes. Excessive alcohol. In one 2010 study, levels of C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation, increased in people who consumed alcohol. Those who had more than 2 drinks per day had the highest CRP levels. People who drink heavily may develop problems with bacterial toxins moving out of the colon and into the body. This condition, often called leaky gut, can drive widespread inflammation that leads to organ damage. Fried foods. Frying may also increase the amount of trans fats in cooking oils, which can also promote inflammation. Some research suggests that fried foods can influence the composition of the gut microbiome, which could increase levels of inflammation. Additionally, other studies have found that fried food consumption may be associated with an increased risk of developing and dying from heart disease. These foods can directly activate pro-inflammatory substances and indirectly promote weight gain, all of which lead to inflammation in the body. But this underlying persistent inflammation eventually leads to symptoms ranging from annoying to somewhat debilitating, including chronic fatigue, frequent or recurrent infections, joint and muscle pain, insomnia, gastrointestinal diseases such as acid reflux, constipation, and diarrhea, anxiety and depression. Left unchecked, the damage caused by inflammation and oxidative stress can lead to serious health conditions, including high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, cancers, liver disease, kidney disease. This explains why nutritionists and doctors encourage eating foods rich in antioxidants, which counter oxidative stress and constitute a cornerstone of an anti-inflammatory diet. So now let's discuss the foods that are most important for reducing inflammation. This food has an extremely high level of glutamine, In fact, if you were to look at all the foods available, this one would have the highest level. Let me just go over what glutamine is, though. It's an amino acid that your colon cells need to produce ATP energy, fuel the intestinal layer of the cells as well as the mucosal layer, which is home to all the good bacteria, and it supports tight junctions. The main cause of inflammation is leaky gut, also known as intestinal hyperpermeability. Basically, this means that there are holes in your single-layer cell that allow larger food molecules to pass through. Your immune system then recognizes these molecules as foreign objects that need to be eliminated, which is when you start to develop allergies and antibodies against specific foods. The solution for this is glutamine. But what food contains the greatest glutamine is the question at hand. And beef, specifically, is the answer. Whether you have an autoimmune disease or another kind of non-autoimmune joints problem, beef provides you with the incredibly healing protein glutamine, which can help assist your gut and other forms of inflammatory disorders. The best anti-inflammatory food for vegetarians and vegans. So, here is the list. Red cabbage. Red cabbage is a glutamine-rich vegetable. It helps build immunity and boosts your overall health. Include it in salads, sandwiches, and wraps because cooking it destroys its glutamine content. Red kidney beans. Great as a source of protein, fiber, and iron. Red kidney beans also contain around 0.6 u-glutamine per 100 g. In fact, most pulses contain glutamine, including chickpeas, lentils, butter beans, pinto beans, and many more. These are good choices for vegetarians and vegans who can't get glutamine from the more rich animal sources. Nuts. Nuts are rich sources of healthy fats and protein. Glutamine, an amino acid, is also present abundantly in nuts. A handful of almonds, cashews, walnuts, or pistachios along with a piece of fruit are perfect fuel before exercise. Now there are other things that are loaded with glutamine are fish, egg, yogurt, cheese, dark, leafy green, bone broth. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have not seen my video on benefits of clove, you should check it out. It's actually very interesting.